Can we beat Pokemon Ruby with only a Luvdisc? Let's find out. Hey everyone, and welcome to my solo run of Pokemon Ruby version with Luvdisc only. In this solo run, I will not use any exploits or hacks, other than using a randomizer to add Luvdisc as a starting Pokemon choice, replacing Torchic. The rules are in the description, but in short, I'll be following the game's general rules, but only using Luvdisc in battle, other than the one required double battle, but more on that later. First up is the rival battle with May. I had already gained a couple of levels grinding in the wild to level 7, so this battle was pretty easy. We hit her Mudkip with a few tackles and ended up winning our first trainer battle. We then move on to our first gym battle against Roxanne, and being that this is a rock gym and Luvdisc is a water type, you can guess how this will go. First it was her Geodude, and we one-shot it with Water Gun. Then out comes Nosepass, and since we were close in level, I can't one-shot, so she keeps using potions, and Nosepass keeps using Rock Tomb. This goes on for a bit, but I finally take it down, and we get our first badge. Not too bad so far. Next up is Gym Leader Brawly, with his fighting-type Pokemon. I have no idea if I'm saying his name right, so I'm just going to assume that I am. I've been fighting every trainer I can, so Luvdisc is now at a whopping level 19. Yeah, not too great. Anyways, this battle dragged out for a little bit. First out was Machop. I used Charm a couple of times to lower the attack, but with Seismic Toss, I lose the 17 hit points that equal his level no matter what. We both eventually need to potion, but I do take it down. Next out is Makuhita. Again, no idea if I'm saying that correctly. But I use Charm a couple of times, have to heal, but we take it down with Water Gun, a little quicker than the Machop. Gym Badge 2 collected. Now we head over to Slateport, and I headed north towards the next rival battle. I knew I needed to do some grinding between the second and third gym, but I wasn't sure how much. As you could see, we gained 10 levels from the second gym to this May rival battle. Still, it wasn't working, and I faced her about 8 times. Since the mart nearby sold them, I used a few X attacks to power up Takedown to finally beat the unexpected hero on her team of Shroomish. Between Leech Seed and Mega Drain, it took this plus a little luck to get by it. Next up was Nummel, however you say that, an easy win, and finally Marshtomp, who after a few water guns did go down. That was a lot more difficult than it should have been, but we made it past it. We are now in Mauville. I believe that's how you say that. There was a little Wally battle here. He has Ralts. It was terrible. The end. Now the third gym, as anticipated, was extremely difficult. I'm pretty sure I attempted this between 10 and 15 times, which was one of the longest battles and some of the longest grinding I had to do. I didn't include this to spare your sanity, but I fought every trainer, and then around the house to the north to get the Macho Brace. You see my level jump all the way to 43 just to complete this battle, and it was still just a little bit of luck to get past these Electro Pokemon. The first two, it looks like, went down easy, but it definitely took me a few tries. But then when Magneton came out, I started using Sweet Kiss, and the confusion paying off was really the only way I won this. The leveling helped enough, but one-on-one I don't think I would have beat it again. But we did get our third gym badge. Now we climb up a volcano to face Maxie. He starts out with Mightyena and then goes to Golbat. I water gun both, and he uses a couple of super potions, but both eventually go down. He then goes to Camerupt, which I believe is quad weak to my water gun, so that makes this battle not as scary as it could have been. I guess inadvertently, I made this challenge slightly easier by doing it in Ruby with Team Magma, but I didn't really think about it when setting up the game. We beat Maxie and we go on to the next gym. The next gym leader is Flannery, and this is a fire gym, so I should be fine. She throws out a Slugma, and I water gun it. Then a Torkoal goes down the same way. A nice easy gym after the previous one. I am a little over-leveled there, though. I jump right into the 5th gym with Norman the Doorman here, and this battle proves to be a little bit more work. He started with slacking, so I used a couple of charms to lower its crazy attack stat. I then went to work with water gun and tried to confuse it. It healed a few times, but we did take it down. Then came out Vigoroth. I used the same strategy of Charm to lower the slash attack and Confused, then Water Gun. It took a little bit, but it worked. Then the final Slacking is sent out. This part dragged out a little bit more, but we do eventually take it down and get the 5th gym badge from our dad. Just as a side note, so this guy moves his whole family to become this gym leader. Meanwhile, his kid in a couple of days comes in and takes him down with one Luvdisc. What a success. Anyways, we go get Surf after this for our best move, and then we go down to the abandoned ship between Dewford and Slateport to get the TM for Ice Beam. Now we have a decent move set. I threw this battle in here so you guys could see where I got the Mystic Water. This is the held item I use on Luvdisc the rest of the way, and I didn't want anyone to think that I hacked it into the game or something. So here you go. We run into May again, but now that I have Ice Beam and Surf, this battle couldn't have been much easier. We one-shot her whole team, and we can move on. We arrive at the 6th gym to face Winona, the Flying-type gym. First she has a Swellow. We one-shot it with Surf. The next is Pelipper, and since it resists my moves, I had to confuse it, but then it goes down after a couple more Surfs. Then it's Skarmory, and I two-shot that with an Ice Beam and a Surf. Then her ace, Altaria, comes out, and I one-shot it with an Ice Beam. Not too bad, and we get our 7th badge. There was then another arrival battle, but this one was optional, but what the heck, I could use the experience. Between Ice Beam and Surf, we basically plow through her teams in a few seconds, so it was worth the quick battle for the experience. I once again fought a Magma admin. I more left these in to show that I did play the game and followed the story, not just somehow got some gameplay footage and threw it in here. If you guys have any suggestions on how I can improve the viewing of these videos, just let me know in the comments. I do read them. Next up was the 7th gym with Tate and Liza, if that's how you say their names. I had to bring a Zigzagoon just to begin the battle, but in all of its terms I just threw a Pokeball so that it would not affect the battle except the one hit it had to take to be knocked out of the battle. Due to their Pokemon Lunatone and Solrock both being Rock type, Luvdisc had both the type and level advantage to make this a pretty easy battle. A few Surfs and we were out of here. Here we have our final battle with Maxie. He sends in a Mightyena, a couple of Surfs later and it's down even after him Super Potioning. He throws out Crobat, I use Surf, but then I remember that Ice Beam is super effective, so that takes it down. He sends out Camerupt, and we easily take it down with a Surf. I did go into the Groudon battle. I was going to do it for some experience, but he hit me with a real move like Earthquake, and I didn't want to have to waste time or do the battle over again, so I just ran out of that situation. I threw this clip in to show where and how I got the TM for Toxic. If you have Strength and go in the Fiery Path, it's over on the left as I show here. This will be the last move I add over Charm, and we'll be using this going forward. We then move on to the 8th and final gym, Wallace with his ice Pokemon. He immediately gives us a scare with a Luvdisc of his own, but luckily we had a perfect match to take it down with a few Surfs and a Toxic, after we both confused each other, of course. Next was Whiscash, or however you say that. I used Toxic, then Surf, and confused it to take it down. Then Celio. I again used Toxic, Sweet Kiss, I have to heal up, then Surf. I heal again, and then the Poison takes it out. I use the same strategy on Seaking. The Confusion and Poison wear it down while I attack. Then out comes his final Pokemon, Milotic. I use the Toxic and Sweet Kiss strategy again. This just gets dragged out due to Wallace using potions to keep healing it back up. It does wear down eventually, and we collect our final badge from Wallace. We finally arrive at the Elite Four. I will say the first time I faced them, I came in at level 68. So as you can see, I did quite a bit of grinding on Victory Road and kept coming back in to see where I was at. Once I was able to comfortably get through one, I knew I could use my Lepa berries and such on one good run. First up is Sydney. He sends out his Mightyena first, and we just one-shot it with Surf. Out comes Cacturn, and we one-shot that with Ice Beam. Next is Sharpedo, and with 2 Surfs it faints. Absol took 2 Surfs as Luvdisc the monster fights through the confusion. And finally, 1 Ice Beam to Shiftry has us done with our first Elite Four member. Now as we go to our second member of the Elite Four, we need to heal up and use the stash of Lepa berries I grew and watered to fill out the power points. The second member is Phoebe, and she begins with Dusclops, but 1 Surf and that's out. Next is Bayonet. It lowered my Surf power points with Spite, but 2 Surfs took it out. Sableye, a couple of Surfs, even after the full restore, takes it out. Then another Bayonet, a Surf, and an Ice Beam take it down. And finally another Dusclops that ends up making me heal up, but we take that one down with an Ice Beam as well. And Elite Four member Phoebe is complete. I fill everything back up and head to the next Elite member in Glacia. She begins with Glalie that we one-shot with a Surf. Next is Acilio that we almost take down with 2 Surfs, but she full restores and I end up using a Toxic and 2 more Surfs, and then it's out. Third is another Celio, so I do Toxic and a Surf, but then of course I get frozen, so I wait a couple of turns, and when Toxic is about to take it down, I use a full restore to thaw and fill my health back up. Another Glalie comes out, 2 Surfs for an easy feint, and finally out comes the Walrein. I go right for the Toxic, miss, then go again, but Blizzard is doing more damage than I expected. I have to heal up with an Energy Root a couple of times, and they full restore to get rid of the poison and heal up. They eventually stop healing, and a few Surfs do end up ending the battle. 3 down, 1 to go. The final member of the Elite Four is Drake. This battle ends up being rather quick due to this typing. 5 Ice Beams later from my level 83 Luvdisc, and his entire team of dragons is taken down. Who would have thought that Luvdisc could one-shot a whole team from the Elite Four? We finally arrive in the room with champion Steven. It may have looked easy since I just show the battles that I end up winning, but let me tell you, this challenge went from something fun to try to something I didn't think I would be able to finish. When I was grinding for several hours throughout this, I often wondered, why would I even do this? I guess for people to laugh at me, but I hope someone out there gets some enjoyment out of it. Anyways, Steven begins the battle with a Skarmory. I surf it, it throws spikes thinking I have more than 1 Pokemon, but I surf again to knock it out. The second Pokemon is Aggron, and that's a surfing one-shot. Next is Cradily, 2 Ice Beams and it's down, but it did confuse me. Somehow that has 0 effect on Luvdisc as Steven sends out Claydol. Now I'm not sure why, but he decides to use several full restores on this Pokemon that has the type disadvantage. Either way, we end up taking it down with an Ice Beam when it was at low health. Next is Metagross, and it's hitting me hard with Hyper Beam and Psychic. I have to heal, but eventually my Surf gets the better of it. The last Pokemon we will face in this run is an Armaldo. Well, that's interesting. Anyways, Luvdisc hits it with a Surf, and we are the champion. Now check out that Hall of Fame team. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for watching this Luvdisc solo run, and if you enjoyed it, please give me a like, and if you didn't, please leave a comment on how I can improve. Actually, please leave any comment, random comment, anything. I'd really appreciate it. All of it helps me to grow this channel. As you can see, it's still very small. If you have ideas for some other challenges, please leave them below as well. I'm always open to criticism and ideas. Have a great day, everyone, and thanks again.